Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 320 part of explanation of my theory, according to my theory and my formulas. Arıdaşır's mine new models of metallic bonding and electric current. If electrons moved freely between ions, no metal could be formed. Free electron C model for metals is wrong. It is said that the C of free electrons is the only thing that holds metal atoms together. This is wrong. Interference of smallest electrons that intertwined with protons as coaxial should hold metal atoms together. Here are my metal bonding model and unit cell model. Left side. Each circle is electron motion form. Smallest electron motion form, proton bound electron motion form. Each circle. Okay. Direction, cycle. They are there at their first cycle because they are not free. First cycle's tangential speed is 6.28 times greater than speed of light. This is not a billiard ball picture. This is dynamic picture that I put forward. Interference of smallest electrons that intertwined with protons as coaxial should hold metal atoms together. Here are my metal bonding model and unit cell model. Unit cell model. Like this, intertwined. Okay. Wrongly, in accepted physics, there are 3 unit cell models. They are not intertwined. They are not interfered. There is no interference. But in fact, there are interference of proton-bound electron motion forms in an object, in a metal. And this is the unit cell model picture. Yes. 1. Although electrons and soap bubbles do not have the same properties, both have some similarities in their adiabatic mediums and interference with each other. Both also have similarities in their crystallization patterns. 2. Electrons in a multi-electron atom are not identical, are not dimensionless point particles. In an atom, protons form proton chains linked together. Each electron with different wavelength makes joint cyclical motion with only one proton of the proton chain in a multi-electron atom. Smallest electron motion form, 2 of that make joint motion, okay, together. But greater electrons here, okay. Each electron with different wavelength makes joint cyclical motion with only one proton of the proton chain in a multi-electron atom. although each electron is bonded to a proton, electrons in an atom are intertwined from smallest to largest. However, it should not be forgotten that the axes of the electrons are not common. Each electron is coaxial with a proton. The proton chain is located approximately at the center of all electrons in a multi-electron atom. Each electron has a specific ground state energy, ionization energy. And don't forget, according to me, ground state energy of a specific electron is the highest energy level. We can easily find the radiuses and sizes of electrons from ionization energy values, as I told you and I shown you before. I guess that metal atoms make interference and connect to each other through their smallest proton-bound electrons. Here, smallest electron motion forms. I didn't picture greater electrons in here. Okay. This is the metal. And in a metal, not only smallest electrons, there are greater electrons all over. Okay. I guess that metal atoms make interference and connect to each other through their smallest proton-bound electrons. Of course, this does not mean that the other proton-bound electrons in that atoms are detached and free from the atoms, each one connected with other proton of the proton chain. Like this, smallest electrons interfere and connect proton chain together, but greater electrons for each electron here. This is metal object. Now, yes. 3. Of course, some of proton-bound electrons in a multi-electron metal atoms will be ionized, will be free under the effects of consecutive waves from outer free electron motion forms sources, if they have same or smaller wavelengths. Including these ionized free electron motion forms, some free electron motion forms consecutive waves will make remained proton-bound electron motion forms expand at the rate of their squared wave numbers. Here, expanded. For instance, only interfered to smallest electron. When free electron motion forms consecutive waves affect these, they expand. Be careful. These points represent protons, coaxial electrons and protons, and this distance greater than this. Enlarge this and shrink when free electron motion forms consecutive waves affect vanish, they shrink again. This is disturbance. And this disturbance is, according to me, electricity transfer from this disturbance point to all the way. Yes. Including these ionized free electron motion forms, some free electron motion forms consecutive waves will make remained proton-bound electron motion forms expand at the rate of their squared wave numbers, and when their effects vanish, expanded proton-bound electron motion forms will shrink at the rate of squared wave numbers. While shrinking, each of these proton-bound electron motion forms will pour out single-wave pulses eventually. In each wave, both ionizing and enlarging shrinking processes make these metallic objects disturb. Electric current should be disturbances like these. 4. According to me, electric current in a metal occurs in the form of expansion and contraction of proton-bound electrons. All proton-bound electrons in an atom expand under the influence of consecutive waves of free electron motion forms. Since the smallest electrons that connect proton chains by interfering also expand and contract, interference axis will also expand and narrow. It should be these expansions and contractions that are transferred as electric phenomena, electric current phenomena. Story is long. I will go on next. Have a good evening. See you later.